On the 4th of July, a few years back, my parents' neighborhood throws a day-long celebration that has Sloppy Joe speed eating contests, they have belly flop competitions, tuba-driven music, and this particular year they decided to do a tricycle race. And so they invited all the kids who were like 5 and under to go to the top of the hill, and they would race down the hill to the bottom of the subdivision, and grandparents would come out, and there would be flags waving, and it would be a good time, right? And my kids were a little too small to participate, so we went to the bottom, and my parents, their house is right next to the finish line. So we're watching up the hill, and we hear the gun go off. And all of a sudden, we see like 60 4-5-year-olds come over the crest of this hill, and they're working it, right? They got their legs are pumping those plastic pedals. They look like little bobbleheads, you know, and they're just shaking. Parents behind them, making sure nothing gets out of control, making sure nobody bumps, and they're going. And you see tricycles begin to pull away from the parents, such that some of the parents kind of jogging a little bit, slopes getting a little steeper, and those kids, they're just working it, and then all of a sudden, the kids hit what those in the elite world of tricycle racing call the leg velocity threshold. And 60 pairs of legs go out like a V, and these kids start flying down the hill. And it's at this point, like, some of them begin to get a little wobbly. Some catch edge, hit another. One kid, I kid you not, takes a 45-degree angle into a curb, flies over the curb into my neighbor's shrubbery, right? Kids are clipping parked cars. Parents are trucking after. Most of the kids stay upright, horrified, and screaming towards the finish line. And we're watching this from my parents' house, right? These kids descending down. And we watch like all the volunteers begin to get low, like they're gonna catch all these kids that come down. We hear the kids hit the finish line. We hear a thud, grunts, and like 30 of them just keep right on going into the next neighborhood. And we look back up our street, and we see parents like reaching under cars for their kids, and heads are being rubbed and kissed and rubbed again. And I decided at that moment never to buy my kids a tricycle. When I think about God, I don't begin with the Big Bang. I don't start with miracles or like my need for moral clarity. These are all secondary for me. When I first think about God, I start with velocity. I know that I'm out of control. It is the most obvious detail about me. If I look at myself under a microscope, I'd see that my body reduces to chemicals, and those chemicals reduce to compounds, and those compounds reduce to little tiny molecules that are all dancing to the laws of motion. And it seems like everything about me, my brain, my desires, my beliefs, my joys, all of it, it's all just chemicals slamming into one another. And I find this really disturbing, because all of us at some time ask questions about who we are, about what meaning our lives have. We need something to hold on to when a friend of ours dies, or the girl that we love doesn't love us back, or we have a hidden addiction that's making our lives miserable, and if all we have is chemicals slamming into each other, that gets really depressing really quick. And it's in these places, it's really good to ask what's real. If there isn't something more going on, if there is anything in which I can actually find hope. And maybe some of you are different, but when I come to this point, it's a point where I recognize without help, my life is miserable. It's fairly tragic. I think I have every reason to look for a God, because only a God can breathe into us a different kind of life. Only a God can reach into nature and make our thinking and our feeling and our beliefs and our lives supernatural. When I first started believing in God, I saw something I didn't expect. I began to see intention. I encountered this real personality shaping everything that's in pain. I began to see this personality shaping everything that was malfunctioning, everything that seemed to be spinning out of control, like death, desire, tragedy, all of it. And this God does something special. This God loves to make everything new.